everyone. My name is Josh Lewin. I'm one of the radio broadcasters for the New York Mets. I want to thank you all for joining us today as we commemorate yet another wonderful effort by Major League Baseball and the New York Mets to leave a lasting legacy for communities here in New York City. And although we're currently indoors, we are here to help unveil a beautiful new outdoor space for the residents of the VA St. Albans Community Living Center. This is one of several initiatives undertaken by MLB and the Mets in an effort to donate more than $5 million to local projects and national charitable partners. Yes, you can clap for that. We've got a great roster of speakers for you, and before we get to them, I want to tell you just a bit about this wonderful facility. This is a thrill for me, by the way. My dad grew up on 179th and Linden. It's literally right over, wait a minute, there. So he'd be thrilled that I'm here today. This was originally a naval hospital built in 1950 on the grounds of a public golf course. Babe Ruth used to hit the links here, which is pretty cool. The facility was turned over to the VA in 1974 to serve the needs of the community. And in addition to the primary and extended care offered, the VA works to meet all the needs of its geriatric and special needs patients. And to do this in a home-like setting, St. Albans has transformed the traditional nursing units with names and themes chosen by the veterans themselves. So the patient rooms are decorated to the patient's liking, personal photos, memorabilia, and all kinds of other items. And as you can probably see, as you probably know, this is a truly special place, very deserving of a special project, which I think we do have here. So it's fitting that we start our program off with a truly special guest, who's one of the residents here at St. Albans. He served our country in Vietnam from 1970 through 1974. He's a veteran of the U.S. Marine Corps. It is my honor to introduce to you Mr. Anthony Soto.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, veterans and my peers and staff, and most of all, the Mets organization. A liking of what's going on here at the veterans are really happy about this. It's been a long time that we've been waiting for, let's say, things to happen, and finally, thank God, this organization has been and come up and stepped up and give us a place where we can really enjoy ourselves, and it's a beautiful place. Compared to the space that we had where nothing was, it's truly elegant. The job they did with the landscaping, it's going to give a lot of veterans a great opportunity to get outdoors. It's also sheltered, so if it decides to rain, we have a place where we can still enjoy the fresh air, the grilling, barbecues. It's a great facility, and it's also an adaptation that we took on, which is it's going to help us a great deal. I'm sure that a lot of veterans are going to enjoy it because it's a very nice atmosphere. I mean, a lot of work went into it. I photographed it from the beginning when it was just shrubs and trees, and I followed it all the way to its completion. And let me tell you, it's been a beautiful job that they did. It has been. And I wish to thank very much the organization, the Mets organization, and the people involved in having this program and this project completed. And my thanks, and I'm sure the veterans thank you all as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Soto. The entire sport of baseball, including all 30 clubs, does such a tremendous job throughout the year of honoring veterans and active servicemen and women. There is year-round support through initiatives like Welcome Back Veterans and efforts to pay special recognition during every All-Star Week and World Series, as you're probably aware. Major League Baseball has been at the forefront of making sure the brave men and women who serve our country know how much they're admired and respected and appreciated. This is thanks to the leadership of our next speaker. If you would, please join me in welcoming Baseball Commissioner Bud Selig. Bud.
Thank you, Josh. I'm very pleased to be here today on behalf of Major League Baseball to help unveil these wonderful new renovations to St. Albans Community Living Center. I'd first like to thank Fred Wilpon, Saul Katz, Jeff Wilpon, and the entire New York Mets organization for being outstanding hosts during this All-Star Week. A special project like this requires the hard work and generosity from many important partners, some of which I'd like to acknowledge and thank. Rebuilding Together and Rebuilding Together NYC for organizing the construction and the renovations. Bank of America, which has made a significant financial commitment to this project and to organizations that support veterans. I'd also like to thank their employees who have volunteered to help complete work here today. Thank you very much. The Scotts Company, which donated a substantial amount of product to help make this outdoor space a beautiful place that everyone here can be very proud of. And to all the donors and volunteers who generously gave their time, supplies, and products, thank you. This couldn't have happened without you. Every year, it is an important tradition for Major League Baseball to give back in a meaningful way to the community that supports the Midsummer Classic. Since 1997, more than $57 million has been donated to local and national charitable organizations from All-Star Workout Day proceeds. More than $5 million will be donated in 2013 from the activities that take place tonight at Citi Field. Our goal is to leave a lasting and enduring legacy in the New York community by supporting unique community projects that make a difference in people's lives, like St. Albans Community Living Center. Built on a public golf course where the legendary, as he said, Babe Ruth played, the St. Albans Community Living Center does much more than provide necessary medical and nursing care for veterans in the surrounding area. Their mission is to perform their duties in order to reflect resident independence, individuality, and dignity. Most importantly, the residents here are treated like family. They deserve the best because they're heroes, many of whom were harmed while protecting our country. Thanks to these renovations, residents here and now will have year-round independent access to the outdoor space. As a social institution with enormous social responsibilities, Major League Baseball and all 30 clubs support active service members and veterans in a number of ways. Welcome Back Veterans, which Mets owner Fred Wilpon helped create, is an MLB and Robert R. McCormick Foundation initiative that helps address the most important needs of returning veterans and their families. Since its inception in 2008, Major League Baseball has committed $23 million to Welcome Back Veterans for university hospitals throughout the country that provide post-traumatic stress disorder and traumatic brain injury treatment to veterans and their families in a public-private partnership. In addition, tomorrow night at Citi Field, Major League Baseball and People magazine will honor 30 men and women who have courageously served our country. They range in ages from 26 to 92 and include 9 Purple Heart winners and many others who continue to dedicate their lives to helping their fellow servicemen and women. And I'm delighted that they're with us here today. Thank you. I want to take this opportunity to thank all of them and all of the residents here for their bravery, their sacrifice, and honorable service to this great country. Thank you for allowing us to be here today to show our deep and sincere appreciation for all you've done for our country. It is really a privilege to be here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner. I've been able to realize a childhood dream getting to announce for the New York Mets, a team that I grew up rooting for in Western New York. And I've only been here 2 years, but it has staggered me and thrilled me to see the level of commitment that the New York Mets have to this community. And that starts obviously at the top would you please welcome the chairman and CEO of your All-Star Game host, New York Mets, Mr. Fred Wilpon.
Thank you, Josh, and good afternoon. I was going to say good morning, but it's afternoon. And thank you for allowing us to be inside, because I think it would have been a very short speech. We are very proud here today to be with many of the veterans that have served our nation and have sacrificed, as Bud has said. As host of the 2013 All-Star Game, the Mets are privileged to be part of this ceremony and other ceremonies. We thank Commissioner Seelig, Major League Baseball, our great mayor, and their extraordinary, I tell you, extraordinary concern and efforts on behalf of veterans throughout this country. 5 years ago, Major League Baseball, along with the McCormick Foundation and I, started an organization called Welcome Back Veterans, as the commissioner said. And we had several goals. One goal was to create an awareness around this country that there's 99% and 1% serving. And we have to understand more about the 1%. And we took it as a goal to make sure that this entire nation knows about what the 1% does and what their needs are when they return, with particularity the mental health issues that have not been at the forefront as the years have gone by with the two initial wars that we've been in. We've been extremely successful in making people aware. The second part, we've been partially successful, and we're going to continue to be more successful, and that is for private-public partnerships with the VA so that we would be able to serve veterans and their families throughout this nation, not only veterans coming back, but including their families with respect to their mental health issues. We have seven such centers of excellence, and the president has come out last year with an executive order calling for 20 more. We're pushing very hard so that someday, all through this country, you will be able to get the same treatment as a veteran for mental health issues as you do for physical issues, the same as you do for cancer care or for heart disease. So I would tell you, we will not stop. Major League will not stop. Major League Baseball will not stop. And the mayor of New York, even though he's not going to be the mayor for a fourth term, that's a prediction. I tell you, I don't know of any other person that I hold in higher regard, because he is one of the most giving people in the entire world. So he's not going to stop. We're going to get where we have to be so that you can get served across the country. Excuse me. Thank you very much.
Fred Wilpon, thank you. And indeed, it takes a lot to put on a week's worth of all-star activities. None of it is possible without the help of the host city. So, allow me to introduce someone who knows a little something about guiding a city through an event of this magnitude. Please welcome the Honorable Mayor Michael R. Bloomberg. I was going to say magnitudinous. I don't think that's the word.
Josh, thank you. If you listen to Fred Wilpon, the subtext is that my season tickets cost a lot of money. But I'm thrilled to have them, and people say, are you a Mets or a Yankees fan? I'm a New York fan, and my great dream would be a Subway Series decided in the 7th game after 9 innings, and New York wins.
All right.
Anyways, Josh, thank you, and thank you for helping host the Major League Baseball's All-Star Week. all of the big benefits, and that brings a lot of benefits to our city. There are more, most of what it does is it gives us a pride for the people living here, that we have a chance to share in a great American institution, but it also brings economic benefits to New York. The nearly 200,000 visitors and more than $190 million in revenue the week's events are bringing to this city are great. We really love it. But there's much more than that, thanks to the great community service that Major League Baseball does and that the Mets are helping to sponsor around the city, like the renovations here at St. Albans. MLB and the Mets have committed $5 million, as Bud said, to the All-Star Week legacy projects around the city. And what better ways to give back to the community that's helping us support those who have served our nation. New York City is the home to more than 200,000 visitors, and I'm happy to say we have our Commissioner, Terrence Holliday, Commissioner for Veterans Affairs. Terrence, why don't you stand up and take a little bow? And we have Commissioner Victor Calisi, People with Disabilities Commissioner. The 200,000 veterans that we have here have served in many wars, including thousands who served in Iraq and Afghanistan, and we owe them a tremendous debt. I keep telling our young people that their right to protest, their right to get together, their right to practice their religions, all the freedoms that we've come to take for granted are not free. They were fought for, and they're constantly paid for with the sweat and blood of our young people in this country. We've been doing it for 235 years, and every time you hear something said bad about America, just remember, for 235 years we've had the premier democracy, and this still is the place when people vote with their feet, they come to the United States. We have an awful lot to be proud of, and the veterans are because of it. Our Office of Veterans Affairs and other city agencies are certainly working hard to make sure our veterans get the support they need and deserve. And Michael Handy, I don't know how long it's been, but Michael Handy used to have Terrence's job many years ago, and I see his wife here, so welcome and thank you. We miss him, but we have a good successor. He would be very happy with him. We work closely with the Department of Veterans Affairs, and we're lucky to have partners like the Mets and MLB who have done a great job in stepping up to the plate for our veterans, not just this week, but throughout the year. And I want to thank all of the partners who came together to make these improvements possible, including Bank of America, Rebuilding Together, and Scott's Miracle Grow. And I want to also again applaud Major League Baseball and the Mets for supporting our veterans. I was lucky enough to be with Mrs. Selig, and I think she had some guy she was toting along all last week. Were you the other guy? Yeah. I think so. All kidding aside, Bud is one of the great commissioners that any sports league has ever had. He has kept America's sport growing and providing the great entertainment and challenges that we all love. It's as good an example of what America's all about as you can possibly have. And I'm looking forward to Midsummer's Classic tomorrow night. I plan to have 3-odd boxes of popcorn, probably 3 or more beers, but I'm not driving afterwards, don't worry about it. And I'm looking forward to seeing 2 Mets players it'll feature. And, of course, it also features 2 Yankees. That's the other team in New York. So as mayor, I'm strictly nonpartisan in the outcome. Let me just take this moment to say one more thing, because it is serious, and hopefully the media will carry this to all the people in this city. It's going to be very hot and humid this week. The weather can be dangerous, especially for those without air conditioning, the elderly, and those with chronic health conditions. There are about 425 cooling centers that we have open around the city for those needing relief from the heat. For their locations and hours, and for more information on avoiding heat-related illnesses, please visit nyc.gov or call 311. And remember to check in on family and friends and neighbors, especially seniors, to make sure they're okay. Also, heat can be very dangerous for pets, so use some common sense. Limit the length of walks, make sure pets have plenty of water, and never leave pets alone in parked cars. It's going to be a hot week, but it's also going to be a very fun week, and a week where we really are appreciative of the great entertainment and of those who got us and keep us where we are, the greatest country in the world and the greatest city in the world. All the best.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And hydrate. Leading by example. I'd like to introduce you to our next speaker. He is the Military Affairs Executive at Bank of America, joined the bank in 2008 after a 29-year career in the Navy that included 100 different combat missions, from aircraft carriers, 3 major worldwide commands, and service as an Air Wing commander in the USS Enterprise and Director of Senate Affairs at the Pentagon. In his current role at Bank of America, he oversees the coordination of the bank's programs and partnerships focused on supporting service members, veterans, and their families. So would you please help me in welcoming Mr. Jeff Cathy.
Thank you, Josh, very much. I'm honored to be here, and especially in such an esteemed group of leaders up here. Mayor Bloomberg, thank you so much for everything you do for this great city, and particularly for your strong partnership in so many of our philanthropic endeavors. One of those endeavors is this project, and it's really a testament to the fact that when people make connections, great things can and do happen. As official bank of Major League Baseball, Bank of America is excited to be a big part of MLB's All-Star Week festivities, and we're very proud of our involvement in this extraordinary project. As a nation, we are duty-bound to support the men and women who sacrifice so much to defend our freedom. And places like St. Albans are so important because they deliver on that commitment every day. At the Bank of America, we understand that duty. That's why we have a long history since 1920 of supporting the military community and working in tandem with great military and veteran support organizations like Rebuilding Together. A fine example of this commitment is our Express Your Thanks campaign, which we've undertaken to support the efforts of Welcome Back Veterans and Wounded Warrior Project. With 250,000 service members leaving active duty this year alone, we need to help them respond to the many challenges they face as they integrate back into the civilian workforce. To do that, we're asking our employees, including these 75 dirty and sweaty great Americans over here on my right side, our employees, our customers, and the general public to post messages of thanks to our military via Twitter using the hashtag TroopThanks or online at bankofamerica.com/TroopThanks. For each such expression between now and Veterans Day, we'll donate $1 to Welcome Back Veterans and Wounded Warrior Project, up to $1 million. And it's really team efforts like this and Express Your Thanks and this beautiful renovation that makes us most proud. And because we know that long after the fanfare of the All-Star Game is complete, it's the connections that we make here today and all across this country that's going to make life better for America's veterans and our communities. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Jeff. Now, if you would please help me welcome the director of the VA New York Harbor Healthcare System, Martina A. Paruda. Thank you. Did I get it?
Thanks, Josh. On behalf of the Department of Veterans Affairs, I welcome foremost all of our nation's veterans who are in the audience. You're the reason we in VA exist. And thank you to all those great volunteers out in the audience. They were out in this heat today. I was out there watching them, putting the final touches on what has been a 6-month project, working with Major League Baseball and the Mets, and Rebuilding Together and Bank of America. It didn't happen overnight, but with their great resources and our great ideas on how we can help veterans, it became a reality. And as Mr. Soto mentioned, it'll be a forever experience that our veterans here at St. Albans can enjoy. It gives them recreational activities outside in an enclosed patio with lovely landscaping provided by Scott's Miracle-Gro. And most importantly, it makes it an even more home-like atmosphere for our residents here at St. Albans. Because the veterans who are here, this is home. And that's what we at VA strive to make it for them. A home that they are completely comfortable in and can depend upon VA until their final days. Because that's what we in VA are all about, serving our nation's veterans. And partnering with the great people that we have here up on the stage has made it so much more real for us in VA and what we can do. And I would be remiss if I didn't say, let's go Mets. Thank you.
Thank you, Martina. I know you did, too. Also like to take the opportunity, if you'd allow me, to acknowledge a few other very important people who have joined us here today. Senator Joseph Adabo is here today. The director of the VA New York, New Jersey Veterans Healthcare Network, Michael Sabo, of course, is here today. The associate director of the VA New York Harbor Healthcare System, Veronica Foy, is with us today. And the commissioner of the New York City Mayor's Office of Veteran Affairs, Terrence Holliday. Thank you again. Thank you all for being with us today. And if you would, please welcome the chairman of the National Board of Rebuilding Together, which really took the lead in the planning and the organizing and the working on the beautiful outdoor project you've heard us talk about, Brad Siegel.
All right.
Thanks, Brad.
Hi, everyone. I'm sure that everyone, our partners here, Bank of America, Major League Baseball, and Scott's join me in being honored to be here today to be part of this wonderful project and event in the work of upgrading the outdoor space and provide the residents of St. Albans with year-round independent access and increased opportunities for socialization here at the center. Thank you, Director Peruta, the residents and staff of St. Albans Community Living Center for inviting us into your home. And most importantly, thank you to all the veterans whose service to this country, who served our country so honorably. The work scope for this project includes installing a 3-season room for the residents, wheelchair accessibility to the green space areas, the installation of a gazebo, new lighting, security cameras, and fencing, along with plantings and seating areas. We are also excited about all the new updates we are able to provide to the bowling alley for the residents. This is our 4th year working in partnership with Major League Baseball, the home team, Bank of America, Scott's, and All-Star Week. Thank you to our partners and all of the hard work, including the volunteers here from Bank of America today, in making this event possible. Thank you, Commissioner Selig, for joining us today. You, along with Major League Baseball, have been a terrific partner. We appreciate your support. I'd also like to thank Tom Brossel, Cecilia Bobrowski, Kevin Moss, Lisa Morales, Stephen Orocho, and Matt Byrne for their work. If it wasn't for Major League Baseball and the All-Star Game, we simply would not be here working on this wonderful project. To the home team, the New York Mets, who I watched as a kid growing up, like yourself. I never forget being in 2nd or 3rd grade and the teacher wheeling in a TV to our class to allow us to watch the 1968 World Series. It's one of my fondest baseball memories of all time. But thank you, Mr. Wilpon, for hosting this year's All-Star Game and the many wonderful community service projects going on under your leadership, not only this week, but throughout the year. Also, special thanks to Jill Nee and the rest of the community service team from the New York Mets for their support over the past year on this project. And of course, thank you, Mayor Bloomberg, for being here to recognize our work here today. And if you were to run for a 4th term, even though I live in New Jersey, I would have voted for you. And thank you, Bank of America, for all the wonderful volunteers that you have provided with us today, for supporting the wonderful community service project, and for your long-standing support of our important work. Thank you, Jeff, for your support and over the past 4 years, and for Bank of America and all Bank of America does to support our veterans throughout the country. Yeah. Many thanks to Scott's for the donations of the planting products and seed, and for helping to make this such a wonderful green space for the residents. Thank you also to our home team, Rebuilding Together's New York City affiliate, who we really appreciate everything you've done to make this project possible and all the work you're doing to help low-income families recover from Hurricane Sandy. Thank you to Melissa, Jennifer, Terry, Melissa, and the rest of the team of New York's Rebuilding Together. Rebuilding Together will be celebrating our 25th anniversary this year. Through a network of 200 affiliates and the work of over 100,000 volunteers, we are able to renovate over 10,000 projects. Our work across the country helps low-income families to live in a safe and healthy home. We also help families recover after natural disasters like Superstorm Sandy. After Hurricane Katrina, we helped over 1,000 families in the Gulf Coast be able to move back into their homes, and our work continues in the New York area trying to help those affected by Sandy. Our Veterans program, which began in 2005, will complete our 1,500th project in Washington, D.C. early next spring. We hope that you'll be able to join us there. Thank you again to the Veterans New York Harbor Healthcare System, Director Peruta, Ernie Monteleone, Jennifer Sammartino, and the entire staff for giving us the opportunity to support your stellar service to our heroes and the people living here at St. Albans. Thank you again to the veterans and all the residents of St. Albans for your service to our country and for protecting our way of life. Thank you.
Thank you, Brad, very much. You guys have done a great thing here. Appreciate you very much. Last but not least, one of the many Mets alumni who have come home to New York this week to help us celebrate the spectacle that is the All-Star Game. How about a round of applause for former All-Star Game MVP, George Foster. Not to date him or any of us, but 1976.
Correct.
Veterans Stadium.
It's on? Yeah.
Philadelphia.
Hello, New York.
For those that don't know, George has been very involved with veterans over the years. Your charitable foundation has done some great work. I know you think it's important to keep doing this.
Right. We deal with the military kids, have a foundation that want to make sure that the military kids have an opportunity to go out there and play sports or learn life skills. And it's been exciting getting involved with kids overall, but it's letting the military know that they're important, that we care about them, and that we want to be able to do whatever we can to help them out as a family.
What's been your favorite part of All-Star Week so far?
The favorite part of All-Star Week, the Fan Fest. Interacting with the kids and seeing them, seeing their idols like a David Wright or Darryl Strawberry, but just seeing that their eyes are so the excitement in their eyes. They want to be a star. They want to be a Harvey. And in my case, it's trying to help them to get to that level. They may not make it to major league, but it's high school or going to college or getting to a higher level.
You can keep the souvenir microphone if you like, I'm told. George Foster, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, George.
Thank you. Thank you.
This concludes our program. We're going to take a very quick group photo right here real quick. And we do have to get the commissioner out and the mayor out as well. Thank you very much all for being here. Be safe, be wonderful. God bless. Thank you very much.